Iran war sufferings cannot stay hidden as US casualty figures rise and the true cost of the conflict comes into focus. Trump left facing fresh questions as the Pentagon updates the latest US troop casualty figures from the Iran war. 774 US servicemen reportedly down in the Iran war, with a staggering figure raising fresh questions over the toll on American forces. Pentagon casualty figures surge as the latest tally reveals 18 dead and 756 wounded in the Iran war. Pentagon numbers keep climbing as the war takes a heavy toll on US forces, but Trump continues to insist he won. Pentagon reportedly corrects the earlier casualty toll as Trump prepares for another round and questions grow over the true cost of the war.
Economic warfare towards Iran, does that indicate that the military options in the region for the U.S. are limited?
No, not at all.
Pentagon casualty data showed that 774 US servicemen had been killed or wounded during the Iran war, highlighting the human cost of the conflict. 18 US servicemen were killed and 756 others were wounded, according to a Washington Post report published on August 21st. The tally rose after the Pentagon added a new round of injured servicemen to its official casualty database following the latest updates. The increase came despite a truce, which may have created a reporting lag as some war-related injuries were added only after fighting had eased. This came as the US was reportedly considering reducing its military presence in the Middle East following the end of major combat operations. The planned pullback could include reducing defenses across the Gulf while also deciding not to rebuild some military bases damaged during the war. The casualty figures also renewed questions over how the Pentagon had publicly described the severity and scale of US military injuries. Several servicemen had claimed their injuries were more serious than official descriptions initially suggested, raising concerns over casualty reporting. One US sergeant said the Pentagon had downplayed a strike that killed 6 American soldiers in Kuwait, despite the severity of the incident. Trump on August 21st claimed that a military option remained open as Washington continued applying economic pressure on Iran.
Does that indicate that the military options in the region for the U.S. are limited?
No, not at all. It just means that we're seeing what happens. They have no money. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They are not paying their soldiers. They're not paying their police. They have 350% inflation. So we're just going to sort of see what happens. And we have total control, as you know, of the border. We have total control. If you look at the blockade, we have total control of that entire region having to do with the Strait of Hormuz. And that means well into it, the land areas. So they would love to make a deal, but they're not ready to make the right deal, in my opinion. Yeah.
A new Air Force report has revealed how $23 million MQ-9A was lost in the Middle East after critical fuel system fault shut down its engine. The drone suffered an engine failure after completing a 19-hour mission in August 2025, according to Task and Purpose, while operating in the U.S. Central Command region. Its remote crew fought for more than 7 minutes to keep the stricken MQ-9A airborne, as the aircraft descended after losing engine power. The pilot guided the powerless drone for nearly 10 minutes before making a forced landing, which caused the aircraft's landing gear to buckle on impact. A damaged wire in the fuel system likely developed an electrical short, cutting off the system that supplied fuel to the drone's newly installed engine. Investigators identified chafing as the probable cause, concluding that the wire may have rubbed against another surface until its protective insulation failed. The fuel system shut down during the mission, leaving the MQ-9A without engine power after it had already flown for 19 hours over the Middle East. The crew attempted 2 engine restarts, but the damaged fuel system wire meant neither attempt could restore power to the descending aircraft. Investigators said the drone could not be saved, because the fuel system failure had irreversibly cut power and left the crew without a workable recovery option. The forced landing buckled the drone's landing gear, leaving the MQ-9A disabled at an undisclosed location within the U.S. Central Command region. U.S. forces decided against recovering the stricken drone from its undisclosed location, choosing instead to remove sensitive equipment and destroy the remaining airframe. Sensitive equipment was removed before the remaining wreckage was demolished on site, ending the recovery operation without transporting the damaged MQ-9A. The MQ-9A was on its first flight after new engine was installed during major maintenance, making the loss especially notable in the Air Force investigation. The engine replacement followed a scheduled 3,000-hour overhaul, a major maintenance milestone intended to keep the MQ-9A fleet operational and reliable. The MQ-9A received no post-engine swap shakedown flight, meaning the newly installed engine was not tested during a dedicated check flight before the mission. Such shakedown flights are required for most manned aircraft, allowing crews to identify potential mechanical issues after major work is completed. Air Force rules do not require those flights for MQ-9 aircraft, despite the drone's complex engine, fuel, communications, and flight control systems. Investigators found no evidence maintenance caused the crash, concluding that the procedures carried out during the overhaul were not a factor in the incident. The engine replacement was not linked to the damaged wire, with the investigation finding no evidence that the swap created or worsened the fatal fuel system fault. The crash report also revealed the intense tempo for MQ-9 crews across the Middle East, where long missions and repeated sorties are testing remote operators. The two operators had flown almost 60 sorties in 90 days, representing a workload far above the mission count experienced by many traditional combat aircraft crews. The pilot flew 19 missions during the previous 30 days, maintaining a demanding operational schedule in the weeks immediately before the drone was lost. The sensor operator flew 23 missions during the same period, working through an even heavier mission tempo while managing the aircraft surveillance systems. The operational tempo exceeded that of many manned aircraft pilots, showing how remotely piloted crews are sustaining long and frequent missions across the region. The United States operates more than 200 MQ-9 aircraft in its inventory, providing a large but heavily tasked drone force for combat, surveillance, and strike operations. The heavy tempo comes as MQ-9 have faced significant losses during regional conflicts, placing added strain on a fleet already operating across multiple active theaters. Roughly 40 MQ-9 have crashed since US-Iran hostilities rose in 2025, according to Task and Purpose, with most reportedly lost over Iran or Africa. This comes as US missile stocks have been significantly depleted during the war with Iran, increasing pressure on Washington's wider arsenal of drones, munitions, and air power.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.